even the most basic things, like I kind of say like the survival skills are like looking both ways before you cross the street, but in nature. Like, what are those skills? Like, don't stick the fork in the light socket, you know, which is so obvious. But if you grew up living in the woods your whole life and you come to a house, you might not know.
That's good.
You know, you might not know that.
I like that.
So I always like to ask on this show, I want to, equip dads to lead their household biblically. And I want to ask you why you think it's important for us as men to learn about things, to learn about survival, or at least have an understanding of it.
Yeah. In today's modern world, survival skills specifically aren't always something that's super important to learn, because we know we don't really need them in our daily life, right? But beyond that, just like wilderness skills in general, whether it's edible plants or medicinal plants or learning about animals, I think is important because like the dominion mandate, which we're going to get into, God commands us to rule over creation, the plants, the animals, and I think it's important to know something about plants and animals because you can't rule over something you don't know anything about.
Right.
Yeah, and so that's important. Survival skills are important if you're going out and traveling in the backcountry with whether you're going camping or hiking or skiing, or you're a biologist, or for any reason you're going out. You should definitely know how to take care and account for your basic needs. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Which in today's world, it's just we're just so far removed from the way people used to do it. That even the most basic things, like I kind of say like the survival skills are like looking both ways before you cross the street, but in nature. Like, what are those skills? Like, don't stick the fork in the light socket, which is so obvious. But if you grew up living in the woods your whole life and you come to a house, you might not know.
That's good.
You might not know that.
I like that.
And so the things that I learn first and foremost when it comes to wilderness survival is just those very basic fundamental, don't do this, don't bring this, stuff. And so that's important. And I like to use survival skills as kind of an in to get people talking more about other important issues, right? Like people like to see friction fire, people like to see knives, people are interested in that type of stuff. And then I can take that and to get people interested, and then maybe start, talking about something else, like, ecological problems or the dominion mandate or other issues like that, right?
Wow, yes.
Yeah.
Get gospel with it.
Yeah.
So do you have any resources that you would, like, for someone who's wanting to get started in their local area, do you have some resources that you would point them to that you can show us?
Yeah, I brought some books today. So I probably could have brought like 5 times more books because I just have so many, but I tried to get as far as wilderness living skills and survival, I tried to get one book that represented a few, different areas. Yeah. So I tried to kind of,
because it's important to learn in an area that somebody lives. Would you say right? You want to learn about things specific to your area.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So I have a few different topics represented. The first one is a tracking book. It's called Mammal, Tracks, and Sign.
That's actually what I'm going to name my next album, Mammal, Tracks, and Sign.
Are you serious, dude?
Yeah, I'm going for it.
Sign me up. Mammal, Tracks, and Sign. Dusty Marshall and Mark Elbrock. Not the same thing. So, Mammal, Tracks, and Sign is like a super good book. I don't even know where you're going with that.
I was trying Mammal Tracks,
I'm trying to
raps, tracks.
I'm thinking like a flavor of ice cream.
Yeah.
Mammal Tracks.
I mean, because I'm a mammal, and tracks. I'm rapping tracks.
Oh, so dang.
Yeah, you ain't throwing signs, though.
I'm not throwing signs, that's true.
So Mammal, Tracks, and Sign, really good book. It's got a whole lot of pictures. And
I like picture books.
It'll teach you, I've never bought another book on tracking because this one's so good. But if you're interested in any of the trapping stuff we talked about, before you even buy steel traps, you might as well just go buy the book on mammal track and sign, because you're going to need that.
Okay.
Good to know.
Probably one of my favorite books in my library is called The Forager's Harvest by Sam Thayer. So this book is really what got me into foraging and a lot of other people. It's more for... The guy who wrote it lives in like the Midwest. I think he lives in like Wisconsin or somewhere in that area.
Okay.
So mostly Eastern United States is going to be good. But I say it's just for anywhere you live, because it explains so much about foraging that applies to all plants. Just about, what type of equipment you'll need, and food processing and storage, and how to harvest in a responsible way.
So going out into the wilderness, getting plants, you can actually use.
Right. But the plants it covers are widespread, but the focus is mostly Midwest and Eastern United States. So the Southwest, it's not going to be nearly as useful, but it's still a good introduction to kind of the topic.
Okay. Nice, bro.
And then we have Bushcraft by Morris Kahansky. It's called Bushcraft: Outdoor Skills and Wilderness Survival. And it's not a survival book. The publisher actually went in and changed the title. It was originally titled Far North Bushcraft, and they changed it and added that subtitle, Wilderness Survival. So it's not really a survival book. It's more, it teaches you how to use a knife properly and safety.
Would you say that title's a little bush league?
Most people, every time I say bushcraft, they think they're like witchcraft. What? And I'm like, guys, this is not the same thing.
Doing spells with bushes.
So this is how to use bushes in all your magical needs.
Harry Potter read that book, actually. Yeah.
So bushcraft is actually, it just refers to making things out of wood and using the things in the wilderness to your benefit.
Crafting bushes.
Crafting basically.
Okay.
Nice.
And so axe use, knife use, rope work, fire. He has a chapter on moose. This is for the boreal forest, mostly in Canada. A lot of the things are going to apply, because he's talking about tool use in a lot of the book, so it's going to apply. But the woods that he specifically mentions are northern.
Okay.
Then we have Desert Survival Skills by David Alloway.
Good in Arizona.
Yeah, super good introduction to, well, really just, if you live in the desert, if I can only have one book on survival, this would probably be it.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
He definitely is well researched.
So that'd be the book you take.
Right. Well, I've talked about that with Joy. I said, if you have to take a book out and hoping that if you get in a survival situation, you can just read the book, you've already failed.
You're done.
Yeah. If you're like,
you're going to use it to start a fire.
Right. You're going to use it to wipe your butt and start a fire, and you're going to die. So
wow.
Yeah.
So read this before you
Eat
go
the
out.
pages.
Right.
Perfect.
That's a really good point.
So it's a really good intro survival, and it has wilderness living. So he goes past survival into like primitive living.
Okay.
And what plants you can use, and it's mostly in the Chihuahuan Desert that he is from.
Ow!
And then the last one we have, Medicinal Plants of the American Southwest.
Okay.
So really good scientific book. Actually, it's funny because herbal medicine is often kind of thought about as being like folklore and
like Eastern medicine.
yeah.
Almost.
One time I had this friend from Africa. I don't remember what country, but I told him I was like interested in like learning about like herbal medicine and stuff. And it's so weird that he immediately associated herbal medicine with witchcraft.
Whoa.
Yeah, he had no other idea. He was like, what do you mean herbal medicine? Like, that's what witches do. Like, what do you practice in witchcraft?
Right.
Like, basically it was like, and I was like, no, bro, like, this is like real.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of funny that herbal medicine in our day is almost looked at as like this mystical,
Which is weird because all of our medicine comes from...
A lot of it does, yeah. Yeah, but I think for many years, especially here in the West, herbal medicine is kind of thought of as being like not really
Which frowned upon
right,
by like
it's almost
the
like
doctors.
Right, yeah.
You're
and
using natural stuff. Just take this pill. It's got
Yeah.
the natural stuff in it, plus all of these things.
And I think the reason for that is because there's a lot of people who ascribe powers to plants that they don't have.
Right.
So you'll come up with this excitement like this plant can do this and this and this, and they're going a little bit further than what the plant can
Like
really
CBD
do.
oil, you can use it for everything.
Oh, I know. People are like weed and CBD fiends. Like,
Everything. It applies to everything.
I
Did you
know.
trip and fall? You should try some CBD oil.
I know. They'll recommend weed for anxiety and pain issues and inflammation. I'm like, y'all, there's like that's one plant of millions. Like there's
There's so many others.
not millions, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like there's
sure.
tons more you can use.
Probably like the hallucinogenic properties of some herbs and plants too, to have like a spiritual experience. They probably connect that instantly too.
Yeah.
With
Oh, yeah.
Eastern medicine, herbal
yeah.
medicine.
Right.
Yeah.
So the reason I like this is because it's a scientific approach. You won't get any of that new age stuff or anything. I mean, he gives you dosage information, phytochemicals that are active, methods of preparation, and how to make those. So this is a very good resource for native plants of the Southwest.
All right.
And then the last book I saved for last is one I've been reading. It's called A Different Shade of Green, A Biblical Approach to Environmentalism and the Dominion Mandate by Dr. Gordon Wilson.
It's a new
Wilson.
one. That's a new book.
Forward by N.D. Wilson.
Is he doctor? I think he is.
Yeah, I think he's Dr. Gordon
I think he
Wilson,
has a
I believe.
PhD, right? And so this is a written by a reformed Gordon Wilson. He's a reformed.
Presbyterian. He's a teacher at New St. Andrews, right?
Right. I think he teaches biology. He has a biology textbook out as well.
Yes.
So this is a book about the Dominion Mandate, environmentalism from a Christian perspective. He talks about how we're commanded in the Bible to rule over the animals and the fish, and how we've been given that and what that means and the implications for that. And then he ties it to some practical real world examples, and so it's really good. He talks about some of the imbalances as Christians that we have, dealing
Sure.
with those types of issues, and he tries to clear some of it up. So.
Which we're going to talk about
Right,
very soon.
absolutely.
And also, he has him and N.D. Wilson have The Riot and the Dance out, which is on Amazon Prime.
That's so good.
Which is awesome, and
Right.
it's looking at nature and animals from a biblical worldview, from a creation
Right.
stance, rather than millions of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing I like about this book is that it's written in a very easy to understand tone. Kind of like if you've read Doug Wilson, he doesn't like use all this like deep theological language. At least when I've read him, he hasn't. And so he talks just like we're talking, and it's very easy to understand. And he doesn't. It's not like a deep theological study, and it's pretty quick read. So I would recommend it for anyone interested
want
in
that book.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is addition versus submission. Sinners need forgiveness. Surrender to his lordship. Don't extort the grace he's given. See, I'm blessed by the one, Yahweh, all day. I'm a wretched sinner, deserve hell for always.